विहारी मुनतीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा श्रेय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौर नित्याय जय गौर नित्याय जय गौर नित्याय जय गौर नित्याय जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय शील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय थैंक यू माता जी हरे कृष्ण
संकीर्तन की जय हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा थैंक यू अनुसुया माता जी थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Janvi Jeevan Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare
Is the
Bol.
light okay, Mataji, or still not?
It's little dark, Mataji. It's little dark.
Is it okay now?
Yeah. Better, Mataji. Yeah.
Direction is better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Because the sun is other direction. Little bit, this during this time only we see the sun. And then my desk is just closer to here, and then if I open the curtain, I don't think you'll see anything. You like, yeah?
This is better, Mataji.
Better if I open?
Yeah. I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I start sharing. Huh? Give me 1 minute. So we're done up to 5th one, right? 5th verse.
Yes, Mataji.
You can see the screen now. 5th is finished. I go to 6th, right? Okay. Shri Shuka Uach, sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Shuka Uvacha Edatu Rajasva Sutan Asadhun. Ushna dharmena vinashta drishti Bharaturyavistasya sutan vibandhun Praveshya lakshya bhavane dadaha. Shanti Ramachandran Mataji, Suma Mataji, anyone can recite?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Yes,
Mataji.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji.
Dandavat pranams.
Shri Shuka uvacha yada tu raja swasutan asadhun pushnanna dharmena vinashtat drishti bhratur yavistasya sutan vibandhun praveshya laksha bhavane dadaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat.
Anyone wants to recite the translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
No.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, King Yudhishthira became blind under the influence of impious desires to nourish his dishonest sons, and thus he set fire to Lakwir house to burn his fatherless nephews, the Pandavas. Hare Krishna.
Who wants to read the purport?
Myself, Mataji Shanti Ramachandran.
Yes, yes. Mataji.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, but his blindness is committing impious activities to support his dishonest sons was a greater blindness than his physical lack of eyesight. The physical lack of eyesight does not bar one from spiritual progress. But when one is blind spiritually, even though physically fit, that blindness is dangerously detrimental to the progressive path of human life. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So we are reading like this is a section where chapter 1 questions by Vidura. So Vidura, renunciation we heard previous verses and is inquiring Maharaj Parikshit's inquisitiveness of understanding why Vidura is renouncing home. So he's asking Shukadev Goswami about Vidura renouncing home, and then Parikshita inquired about that. And then he also inquired about Vidura and Maitreya Samvada, like that. So this is a section where we are going to get into understanding the reasons behind why Vidura leaves the home. Yeah, so he's been insulted by Duryodhana. Vidura gave up his house. He's going on his pilgrimage, and he meets Uddhava on his way, and he inquires from him about Krishna, Yadus, Kurus, everyone. And then Uddhava remembers Krishna's pastimes outside Vrindavan, and he informs Vidura about Yadu's disappearance and all that. And then Uddhava directs Vidura to Maitreya for further enlightenment. Then Vidura meets Maitreya at Haridwar, like that. So first was Vidura's question about, is asking all that. So understanding from Vidura's perspective, like why Vidura left home. Anyone remember why Vidura left home? Pandava's house is considered as Krishna's house. So it is wherever Krishna is there, Vidura, he should be happily being there. So it is his own. And so what is the reason like that, Vidura leaving?
Mataji, to get spiritual realizations, more deeper realizations from Maitreya Maharshi, Mataji.
Yeah, but why do we have to leave the home? Vidura was, asking why.
Because he was insulted by Duryodhana, saying that he is the son of some maid.
Yeah,
Could
there
it
was
be the Varnashram Dharma, Mataji? At a certain period of time, renunciation is a must, right, Mataji?
Yeah, but that could be, but why in this world? Why did Vidura leave? Like, Krishna himself is there in that place. So, it is Lord, Supreme Lord is there. Where else you will get it?
Wherever
Yeah.
the sages go, the devotees, they have the devotion to the Lord. So it's not that they have to sit at one place and do the devotion. So wherever they go, they carry the Lord within their heart and they do the devotion.
Yeah, there's like Vidura is not showing any attachment to his, families like that. And, there is a quarrel happening between, Kauravas and Vidura. And then he's very saintly person and he's showing his tolerance. And then Krishna want him to learn, get the enlightenment. So he let him go like that, so that he's interested in self-realization. So Vidura gets Krishna knows that Vidura is going to get enlightened. So that's the reason Krishna didn't stop. Vidura wants to go because of quarrel happening between the family members, and then he wants to he is showing his tolerance towards them. So he is actually an advisor to Dhritarashtra, but still. Yeah, so Vidura, and to happen this particular Leela also to happen, that Maitreya Muni and Vidura conversation, and then to further continue the pages of Shrimad Bhagavatam with the questions of Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami. So Krishna let it happen, and then Vidura leaves, and then it is where like wherever you see from the example, like when you see the swans, what do the swans do?
They just look for clean water, Mataji.
Yeah. So whatever is dirty, they ignore. They just don't worry about that. Yeah. Take only the best, like that. So great souls, they are like Vidura. He's like that. So he just wanted to understand, what is important rather than getting into this family matters. So here in this section, Sukadev Goswami is addressing the reasons why he left. Some of the family matters were there. What was that? So that is what we're going to understand.
Hare
So,
Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry for the interruption. Mataji, they said Mataji he was insulted by Duryodhana. But a pure devotee of the Lord never expects any honor from others, no, Mataji. So is that a reason, Mataji, to leave home?
Yeah, that's what he's tolerant, no? So he doesn't dishonor doesn't matter to any pure devotee. So just they don't expect that. You're true. Yeah, but he's tolerant also towards this indifference to him, like that. So yeah, so that is something. And then his eagerness to hear. He's in a situation to elevate himself, uplift himself. Yeah, so he's not regretting. So and then he's looking forward to hear. So this is important for him now. So that is what he is not attached to his matters like this, and then so he's looking forward. So here Shukadev Goswami is saying that King Dhritarashtra is blind, is totally under the influence of impious desires. So he knows, Dhritarashtra very well knows about the Pandava strength. He knows that their capabilities, and he knows that they are the righteous people to rule the kingdom, but he has got an impartiality towards his sons. And then he also knows that his sons' attitude is not that good towards Pandavas, and he is just favoring his sons only, but not his what do you say, that Pandu is his brother's son, right? So his brother's sons is not taking care, like as a king, he's not taking care in a similar way, like how he's supposed to take care of his sons, like that. So they both are, in a position of a king, he should look after everyone equally. But he himself is showing this, partiality towards his son, his brother's sons, which is, he's got impious desires like that. But he wants to enthrone Duryodhana as a king, not him. And like that, they have been doing lots of things to Pandava's troubles, like that, firing the like house, and then everything. They're not able to, look after them. But he is in a blind, though he is blind by birth, not just only physical blindness, but he is blind by, spiritually also. So though Vidura was there to give him advice, because Vidura is a very he is very intelligent, and then Dhritarashtra always seek his advice. Though he is there to give him advice, he is still committed to do impious activities and support his dishonest sons. And he is like physically greater blindness than his physical. That is, his spiritual blindness is there, and that is physical blindness is there, and because of this impious desire in his heart, that is blocking his spiritual progress. So So when one is blind spiritually, what Prabhupada says in the purport, when one is blind spiritually, even though physically fit, that blindness is dangerous to their spiritual progress. So they cannot continue like that. So setting a fire to this lack house, and then this impious desire of their sons, his sons only should rule the kingdom. So this is all not good on Dhritarashtra's part. He's favoring adharma, and he's not looking after his own brother's sons like that. So if it is blind like that, then your eyes are tinged with not tinged with love like that. Yeah. So then what happens, Krishna? We constantly battle, just like in our material world also. We constantly battle with our desires. So the desires will lead to sense gratification. Our false ego keeps on endeavor for material, keeps on dragging our consciousness to material things like that. So on the other hand, we have an intelligence. We have to use that. Spiritual intelligence keeps us, brings us our false ego to true ego like that. So if you are, Atmendriya Preeti, then what happens? You will not get the tinge of bhakti. But if you have a love or a tinge of love for Krishna Indriya Preeti, so then all the desires will be spiritualized like that. Icha Tare Prema Nama. So you will be get love of Godhead like that. So we need to counteract our enemies with using our intelligence. But Dhritarashtra was, he has got both sides are there. He's trying to be noble, and also he's got a corrupt side. On one hand, he wants to make his son to become a king like that, and on the other hand, though he knows that they are not qualified like that, on the other hand, he knows that Pandavas are qualified, victorious, competent, everything, virtuous, all this, but still that blood relationship making him to favor his own sons rather than Pandavas like that. So it is a lower nature of Dhritarashtra, and then he is unable to give it up like that. We all also face this every day. We battle with this kind of nature. So we need to. And similarly, we see from the pastimes in fourth canto Dhruva Maharaj pastime also, where Suruchi, similar desire she had. She didn't want her Dhruva Maharaj to sit on the lap of Uttanapada, and then so didn't treat Uttama and Dhruva similarly. So same kind of treatment. So this desire is something, his desire is something will destroy actually himself. So spiritual blindness is there in him, and that is what we need to connect to Krishna, so that the spiritual blindness will be gone. So although he knows that he is not doing the right thing, but he is not able to give it up. So that is conditioning like that. So it represents us also. We also be conditioned in this material world like that. We feel we are seeing, but we are not seeing it. So we keep doing things like that, as if we are someone who is pretending sleeping. They as if they are sleeping only, but they pretend they are sleeping. So it's like that. So as soon as we take up to Krishna consciousness, then that Divya Jnana, so that if you are fortunate enough, then Jnana, that knowledge will be given to us through the spiritual master like that. So this is important. So but here Dhritarashtra is more unfortunate. He's not able to take advantage of good advice given by Vidura, and is rejecting those wisdom words, and he's in a helpless state actually. So if you actually seek guidance, then you will progress. And if you take the guidance in a positive attitude and in a mood of accepting it, you will progress. Otherwise, you won't. If you see in another aspect also in this canto, in earlier, future, and towards the end, you see Devahuti and Kardava Muni pastime there. Devahuti actually realizes that she wasted her time in just understanding the material world and enjoying like that, and she laments for that. And then immediately, she was blind. Because of her lamentation, Krishna listened to her and then gave her a blessing, and then she was blessed with a son who is the Lord himself. Kapila Muni, he himself incarnated, and then he gave her the knowledge, and then all hankering was whatever lamentation was gone. So she got the self-realization like that. So if you keep ourselves, blanket ourselves around that not accepting the wisdom, then we will be like that. Blindness of Rashtra is like that. So we should be able to, open up and try to accept and understand just what is right and what is wrong. So when we commit to impious activities, if it is leading us to something which is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, we should give it up. We should not continue to do that. Here, the Dhritarashtra is blind. He's not doing it. Actually, he's all Pratikula is to Krishna consciousness is being accepting, not Anukula like that. So we'll go to the next one.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yada sabhayam gurudev devya keshabhimarsham sutakarma garhyam navarayamasa nipasnushaya swashrer harandya kuchakumkumani. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Anyone wants to read the small translation?
Yes, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Vijay. The king did not forbid his son Dushasana's abominable action of grabbing the hair of Draupadi, the wife of the godly king Yudhishthira, even though her tears washed the red dust on her breast. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So this is another aspect of all the atrocities which has happened to Pandavas because of the Dhritarashtra and the party, which headed by Duryodhana, like that. So this is insult we all know from the Mahabharata pastime. That Dhritarashtra didn't even stop when the Shasana was dragging Draupadi like that in the assembly of everybody. So holding her hair and dragging her like that, and she was although weeping and looking forward for justice, and then all the elderly and whoever is in the family who can look after her or give her shelter or protection, they were just keeping quiet. Nothing is happening there. This is this particular verses are all taking us through the circumstances of what Vidura is facing or is thinking about or contemplating to leave Hastinapur, because this is what he couldn't tolerate, but he is in a position of it, he's a devotee, so he's tolerating all that, and he got enough of all this. So he just wanted to, get the that's the reason he wanted to leave and get self-enlightenment. So all the reasons have been put forward why he is leaving like that. So this is another reason added that he don't want to continue to stay in Hastinapur and advise evil Dhritarashtra about anything which is not going to work out like that. Yeah. Who wants to read the 8th verse?
Mataji, can I?
Yes, Mataji.
Dinte tvi adharmena jitasya sadhoha satyavalambassya vanam gatasya nayachato samayena dayam tamojushano yad jato shatroha.
Yeah, someone else want to read translation?
Yeah, can I read Mataji? Shaligram, please. Yeah.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai hum. Yudhishthira, who was born without any enemy, was unfairly defeated in gambling. But because he had taken the vow of truthfulness, he went off to the forest. When he came back in the due course and begged the return of his rightful share of the kingdom, he was refused by Dhritarashtra, who was overwhelmed by illusion. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Dandavat pranam. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the rightful heir to his father's kingdom. But just to favor his own sons, headed by Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, Maharaja Yudhishthira's uncle adopted various unfair means to cheat his nephews of their rightful share of the kingdom. At last, the Pandavas demanded only 5 villages, one for each of the 5 brothers, but that was also refused by the usurpers. This incident led to the war of Kurukshetra. The battle of Kurukshetra therefore was induced by the Kurus and not the Pandavas. As Kshatriyas, the proper livelihood of the Pandavas was only to rule and not to accept any other occupation. A Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya will not accept employment for his livelihood under any circumstances. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So another reason here, yeah. So Dhritarashtra is a noble person. I mean, he's following dharma and he's truthful. Always, stands on truthfulness. It doesn't, that is what he's been teaching, or he's been instructing to his brothers and Draupadi, all of them. So he don't have any enmity towards anybody. And though he was being defeated, unfairly in gambling, he tolerated that, and then took a vow of truthfulness, and he just accepted the vanvas like that, and even he went to even in 1 year Ajnatavas and then vanvas, he was there like that. So he accepted all that, whatever atrocities were done by Dhritarashtra and his son. And then after everything is finished, only he came back, and he righteously, because he has got right to heir this father's kingdom. So he just righteously asked about that. It's just begged to return his rightful share for his kingdom. And then this was again been refused by Dhritarashtra, and then because he's completely blind, blinded by spiritual vision, spiritual and this knowledge, or physically, materially, or spiritually, everywhere he's blind. And then he's just not interested to give that, because he's got that favoritism to his sons, and then he's not interested to entertain Yudhishthira Maharaj to even give the 5 villages, because they had, if they had given these 5 villages to Pandavas to rule, because that is their duty to rule. The Kshatriyas, they have to do something. They are literally begging. We have to do something. After this, all whatever is the condition was there, it's been met, and now we are back. So now we are supposed to rule as the Kshatriyas. Just give us just 5 villages, and then that itself they'll be happy. But see, Dhritarashtra and his sons, they were not interested to give. They just wanted to take everything from them, and then they just want to send them out like that. So Dhritarashtra was evil-minded like this, that he is just blinded by his son's demands, and pampered son, and whatever he's telling, he's listening like that, and that itself is making him not to actually take decisions wisely. And Vidura will constantly been giving him in advices, but Dhritarashtra is not taking any of his advices. That also makes Vidura upset. Like he's not giving, intelligently he's giving his advices, but Dhritarashtra is not happy to take any of the suggestions or feedbacks, nothing. So this made him like he refused to give that. And then this is a stepping stone for the Kurukshetra war, actually. Battle of Kurukshetra that is what is induced by Kauravas, and then that is not the Pandavas' desire to fight, actually. Yudhishthira Maharaj has never wanted to fight. He's not having any enemy. And how come he think about fighting with his own cousin brothers? He doesn't want to. And he don't want to see, his elderly people, and then his teachers, and all well-wishers to be on the opposite side and fight like that. So as per their duty as Kshatriya, they're supposed to rule the kingdom, and then, that is what they were asking for, these 5 villages, for nothing else. That's it. But they are when Dhritarashtra is not willing to give, then they have no other option but to demand. Now they were begging, but now they have to demand. Because of this, situation, they have to come to conclusion that somehow or the other they have to get their right to rule the kingdom, like that. So this is another incident. The cheating thing happened in the gambling, and they know that he don't have any. He's Ajata Shatru. No one is their enemies for him. But still, when Dhritarashtra refused to give their share of the kingdom, that is what also made Vidura not happy. So, and then that led to the Pandavas' war also. So, yeah.
Read Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yada cha partha prahita sabhayam jagad gururyani jagad Krishna natani pumsam amritaya nani rajorumene shatapunya desha. Translation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna into the assembly as the spiritual master of the whole world, and although his words were heard by some, like Bhishma, as pure nectar, it was not so for the others, who were completely bereft of the last farthing of past pious works. The king Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana did not take the words of Lord Krishna very seriously. Thank you, Mataji. Pranam.
Can I read the purport, Mataji? Can I read the purport?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Lord Krishna, who is the spiritual master of the entire universe, accepted the duty of a messenger and dispute by Arjuna and went to the assembly of King Dhritarashtra on the peace mission. Krishna is everyone's Lord, yet because he was the transcendental friend of Arjuna, he gladly accepted the role of messenger, exactly like an ordinary friend. That is the beauty of the Lord's behavior with his pure devotees. He reached the assembly and spoke about peace, and the message was relished by Bhishma and other great leaders because it was spoken by the Lord himself. But due to the exhaustion of the pious results of their past deeds, Duryodhana or his father, Dhritarashtra, did not take the message very seriously. This is the way of persons who have no credit of pious deeds. By past pious deeds, one may become the king of a country, but because the results of the pious acts of Duryodhana and company was dwindling, it became evident from their actions that they were sure to lose the kingdom to the Pandavas. The message of Godhead is always like nectar to the devotees, but it is just the opposite to the non-devotees. Sugar candy is always sweet to the healthy man, but it tastes very bitter to persons suffering from jaundice. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so here it is clearly shows that, now that that's the third step was that, when these things were happening, then Krishna was, Arjuna requested, Krishna to go for, peacemaker like that. So Krishna was sent to the assembly because Krishna is a spiritual master for the whole world. So he is like Jagat Guru, like that, Guru of the entire universe, like that. Although, he's his words, Bhishma heard, and then, Bhishma knows that, Krishna is there, means the victory is there. So he's just accepted this as a messenger, as a duty, requested by Arjuna. He went to assembly, and then, as everybody knows, Krishna is everyone's Lord, and then he's a friend to Arjuna. He's accepted this role. Then this itself shows that how Lord is protects all the time his devotees. That is he went to protect his devotees so that he can bring some solution in the assembly. And then the message was actually been put forward, and then Bhishma accepted it. I mean, it felt as if it's a nectar to Bhishma, like that, but others didn't accept it. Like for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, all of them, it's like a poison to them. I mean, it's just they didn't like the idea because they don't have any prior credits to understand this, and then they just couldn't accept even when Bhishma was accepting, trying to help them to come to some compromise, but because of no pious deeds left with them, they couldn't take this opportunity actually. So if you don't have any inclination towards getting any sukruti, then what is going to happen? You need to be, any adverse conditions you get in your life, you just, if you tolerate, then there is going to be a favorable situations for you. We have examples like that. So, but Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they are not taking this message seriously. because of their impious deeds, no credit of pious deeds rather. Yeah. So then, as Prabhupada says that, by past pious deeds, one may become king of the country. But the results of the, because of the results of the pious acts of Duryodhana and the company were dwindling, it's evident that, they are sure to lose their kingdom. And then the Pandavas will be victorious like that, because it is clear to Krishna that this is when the peace formula is not accepted, it is clear. So though this message of God is nectar to all devotees, like Bhishma Pitamaha, is opposite to non-devotees. They just can't relish, or they don't really like it like that. Yeah. So Prabhupada gives an example of sugar candy is always sweet to a healthy man, but taste person who is suffering with jaundice, they don't really relish sugar candy, like that. So we need to, the bottom line is that when we put into troubles, so then we should go more closer towards the Lord rather than go away from the Lord. And what these Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra are doing is they are going away from the Lord. They're not understanding the implications of not accepting the peace formula. And then we see from pastimes of Samudra Manthan also. When this Samudra Manthan pastime happened, Lord put some instructions to them in conditions that, anything happens now, so there something, some gifts are coming. And then if there are some various gifts are coming, then the demons are snatching or running away from the gifts out of their greediness. You should not get disturbed or follow them or chase them. And then he says, when there is a poison coming, don't be fearful. Just be patiently, tolerate or wait for the best situation to arrive. Like that, then what in those situations, any difficulties come, the demigods were totally trusting the Lord, and any trouble comes, they go to Lord only, but they are not misusing or not following his instructions. They are completely abiding their whatever conditions has been put forward. But here, what you see in Krishna is himself is coming to say something which is good for them, and they are not ready to accept. So that is going to be a dangerous situation for them. That means they don't have any pious credits, and that's going to, whatever credit is there, it is going to completely destroy, and then they are going to face adverse situations like that. So there's another small pastime. It is there is a king called Gadi. That king had got 100 daughters, and these 100 daughters they're very beautiful and they're of the marriageable age. And then they one day they go to a riverside to take bath. And as usual, kings they are into mood of singing, playing, and in a different mood they are enjoying in that playfully in the water. Now there this Vayu comes, and then Vayu got attracted to all of them, and then he proposed to marry. And then they say that we cannot marry such a loose character. We don't want to marry like you. They just outrightly reject and just say get lost. But Vayu, what he does is he just warned them, he threatened them that just you have to accept whatever I say. Like that, he was forcefully telling them to marry, but they didn't want to. And then what he did, he forcefully and with his power he entered into them, and then he like that. And then when Vayu enters into the body, what happens when there is some air in our body will get some kind of a problem, right? In the sense it may get what can you say, that it will get twist or something like that. You can't move also. Your body positioning will be different, and then it's hard sometimes to walk or bend or things like that. So this has happened to all of these 100 daughters of this Gadi king. And then they became hunchbacked actually. And in that situation, they went back to his father, and then they actually tolerated instead of counteracting, they tolerated. They didn't want to actually ruin his father's good name and fame like that. And then they have accumulated a lot of pious deeds. Then that pious strength which they have got through their what you can say, that tapobala or something like that, austerities they have performed, they have got some pious credits. And this, if you counteract with this person, and then they were under the impression that, or understanding that, their pious credits will all diminish. So they don't want to, get rid of all their sukrutis. So they just tolerate that action of this Vayu, and they just, even when Vayu entered into their bodies, made them to become hunchbacked, they just cried, but they didn't say anything. And then they didn't take any action. And then once they reached their kingdom, the father was pleased to see that they didn't take any action, because he's also very advanced. And then he was happy to know that they didn't curse, or they didn't do anything, or counteract, or say any ill words to him. So this reaction, they didn't react towards Vayu, anything. So father became happy, and then said, don't worry, this problem will be solved. You just have to tolerate and wait. And then later, one brahmachari, who is very knowledgeable and praiseworthy, he came and then to the ashram of this king, and then from his ashram actually he approached, and then voluntarily he agreed to marry all these daughters of Gadi. And then as and when he is garlanding all of them, they all got back to their beautiful bodies, and their hunchbackness has gone, and they are looking beautiful as before, like that. It is said that they are all sisters of Vishwamitra also. So like that. So what we have to understand is that tolerating our troubles, tolerating our things which is happening to us, will increase our sukruti rather than counteract and say ill words. And so many pastimes are there in pages of Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj also, he didn't do anything like that when Shamika Rishi's son Shrungi has put it cursed him. Although he just accepted it as a will of the Lord, and then he just continued to do as per required. So he went also for self-realization or enlightenment. So to overcome the mistake he has done, so he didn't counteract. So that sukruti will lead to further enlightenment rather than counteracting and not accepting like that. So Lord's peace formula himself they didn't accept. So that itself shows that they don't have a credit of any pious deeds. So they are going to. So we understand from 17, 18, 19, all these verses that Draupadi was tolerant. Yudhishthira Maharaj was tolerant. Self-control they are. And then Arjuna was also self-controlled. And Krishna was also tolerating all of them. They're all self-controlled. They don't want to, they're all, Pandavas are getting shock after the shock. They're all observing the shocks one after the other, and then still they are tolerant. So this itself is like, it's like a benchmark. We say, for just like, if there is a gold in the market, the gold has got some 9.6 something, whatever. You have got certain mark, right? That means it is 100%, like that, a benchmark. Like this, this tolerances and accepting all the adversities and accepting all the shocks and observing them and not counteracting. This is like a hallmark, a benchmark of the character for all the Pandavas, like that. So on the opposite side, Duryodhana and all of them, they just don't want to don't want to give up those 5 villages also to Pandavas. They're not self-controlled. So like that, we need to understand that there are something like, self-control is important for our spiritual realization. Otherwise, we continue to get allured, get attracted to our, mundane materialistic sense gratificatory activities like that. And then, we just can't control our senses like that. So we just need to understand from this that pious, self-control, if you have, that leads to pious credit. If there's no self-control, then it leads to impiousness like that. So that is what happening to Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. They are not able to control like that. So they are just attached to this kingdom and then not doing the justice like that. So if you follow the guidance and if you follow dharma, then just Krishna is there to protect you and give you the shelter like that. But Pandavas listen to Krishna. That's why they become more and more pious. Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra not listening to Krishna, then they don't have any pious credits like that. So they just not following dharma, not following any guidance given by Vidura and even Krishna. They don't able to destined to get any protection from the Lord. Like that. Who wants to read the 10th one?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandat Pranam, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
यदोपहूतो भवनं प्रविष्टो मन्त्राय पृष्टः किल पूर्वजेन अथाह तन्मन्त्रदशावरीयान् यन्मन्त्रिणो वैदुरिकं वन्दति. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Vidura was invited by his elder brother Dhritarashtra for consultation, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is very well known, and instructions by Vidura are approved by expert ministers of state. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Political suggestions by Vidura are known as expert, just as in modern times Pandita Chanakya is considered the authority in good counsel in both political and moral instructions. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
No, so here, like now Vidura advice to Dhritarashtra is there. Dhritarashtra keeps on taking advice from Vidura, and then that advice is, should be taken in consultation. If it is given, then you should accept it. If it is not accepted, then that means you are disregarding this elderly brother. This is disregarding Vidura in that position. If you are having a trustworthiness on someone, if they give a decision something, you just accept that. That's how you ask a question, right? For example, if someone approaches spiritual master and then you ask something, whatever trouble you have, and you share, and then the spiritual master may say, give you some instructions and suggestions, and you don't follow it, you just ask and just forget about it. So that's how it is. Vidura is in a position where he is able to give a proper advice to Dhritarashtra, and they gave those instructions which are exactly to that situation suitable, and these instructions are also been approved by everybody in the assembly or in the kingdom. But these suggestions are, very expert. That's what Prabhupada says. Political suggestions by Vidura were expert. Just as modern times, Pandita Chanakya is considered as authority in good counseling, both political and moral instructions. He is expert like that. But Dhritarashtra is not in a situation to. It's all he's under illusion. He don't have, he just blind by his, spiritually, metaphysically. Is blind and is not interested to accept any suggestions. Is just want to have his kingdom, nothing else. So that is what it is. Mainly this is as we see, Vidura is born as a maid servant, and then his father was a king, but still Maharaj Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra, they're all as the same father. The mother is different, but Vidura is born out of a queen, so he didn't have a share to become, become a prince or take the throne of the kingdom. But Dhritarashtra loved him a lot, actually. Although he's a stepmother's son, he would like to take his advices as well. So because he's very intelligent, like that. So on this occasion also he consulted him. And this whatever consultation he gives, it is actually valuable. That is why, but he is very expert in giving advices. Vidura Ikhyam, it says, whenever he's been asked, he is very expert in that giving. Still, Duryodhana was blind. Dhritarashtra was blind to accept his suggestions like that, because he did not want to occupy the throne. Others, his brothers, younger brothers, Pandu's sons, they don't want them to occupy that. He became king now after Pandu died, he became king, but he just didn't want to give this right to sons of his younger brother. So he just want to, instead of maintaining them, he's just not accepting any of the suggestions. And then so he says this kingdom belongs to me, like that. Yeah, so like that, so this is what, the Dhritarashtra's position is that he don't want to actually accept anything, and he just take consulting, but he takes advice, but he just do what he wants, like that. So this is the misfortune situation. Like we say, if we see some people we come across, we want to preach to them, and if they don't accept, we consider them their misfortune. They don't come to Krishna conscious or not accept. If they accept and they continue, do something for the pleasure of Krishna, we say, okay, they're fortunate, like that. But if they know everything, they've been doing it, but then they don't do it and they stop doing it, they're most unfortunate. So like that. So this is a situation of Dhritarashtra. He has got a situation where he can take a proper advice from Vidura and act upon it. Is not able to do it because he's just attached to the kingdom and his sons and their welfare only, not Pandu's son's welfare, like that, or his brother's son's welfare. So that made him like under illusion, and then he don't want to accept it. So it's most unfortunate, like that. So we know, when there is someone who is able to help us, we should be able to take their guidance and seek, proper, submissively surrender and serve and seek their guidance. If that is not there, then unfortunately you cannot do anything. You keep on, even if they are ready to ask but not ready to implement or do it, then what can you do? We see like with our most of the family, everyone has got children, they know. You know what is good, what is not good for your children. You want to tell something, this you do, it will be good. They don't listen to you sometimes. You will be understanding, oh, this is not going to get to the right solution. My God, they should at least take something, whatever advice I take, they should implement it, use it. Nothing will happen. They just don't, they're not interested in a situation to accept. Then you just have to see what happens. Like that, Krishna also couldn't do anything. You just have to now, okay, where is the only solution, like that. And Vidura also just raised his hands. I can't do anything. I just did my best. No suggestion, no instructions have been taken properly. Then he also got disappointed, like that. So these lot of reasons are there for him to just, though they are tolerating all the offenses and all the, atrocities, it just all of this made him to leave the Hastinapur and go for self-realization or seeking enlightenment, like that, So, in the next few verses, we keep hearing about requesting upon being invited by Dhritarashtra for consulting, what Vidura advises, that and all is there in the future verses. He advises nice things. What are the instructions you hear in future? So do we have a time to go for one more verse, Mataji, or you take question and answer? What?
Mataji, it's 10:20 only, Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji.
It's 10:20.
Yes, you can go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead.
Can go ahead, right?
Completed, Mataji. Yes, we have time till 10:45, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Who wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, may I?
Yes, please.
3.1.11.
Can you see, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Ajita shatruho pratiyachyadhayam titikshadho durvishaham tavagaha sahanujo yatra vrikhodharahi swasan rusha yatvam alam bibeshi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura said, "You must now return the legitimate share to Yudhishthira, who has no enemies and who has been forbearing through untold sufferings due to your offenses. He is waiting with his younger brothers, among whom is the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you are afraid of him." Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So this is an instruction or advice to Dhritarashtra. Vidura gave to Dhritarashtra now. He's telling better you return it, whatever share they're entitled to. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is someone who is very, don't have anyone, Ajata Shatru. There's no enemies attached to him. So then, he is, they have come, Prayaschitta, they return, and then, for their return, they have come to take their legitimate share now. They've been tolerating all the sufferings and whatever has been given to them, atrocities given to them by all of us. So due to your offenses, they have been suffering. But why are, he's waiting with his younger brothers among whom, what is that younger brothers? Yudhishthira Maharaj is waiting with his younger brothers. Like Bhima has always been revengeful. He's actually, too much in an angry mood. Like how we have to keep on tolerating like this? Why should we do like that? Breathing heavily like a snake. He just wanted to take revenge on them like that. And you should be afraid of him like that. But he still, this is a valid points Vidura is trying to make Dhritarashtra to understand or take it into consideration rather than, just give this, they tolerated your offenses. And then Bhima is there to take revenge, is ready to take it like that. And still is trying to convince. But yeah, the reasons, what happens. Anyone wants to recite this? Tamsudeho Bhagavan Mukunda Grihitvan Shakshiti Deva Devaha Aste Svapuryam Yadu Deva Devo Vinirjita Station Nirdeva Devaha. Someone wants to recite, can recite as well.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavashana, Haribol.
Yeah.
Partam Sudhero Bhagavan Mukundo Grihtavan Shakti Deva Deva Aste Svapuryam Yadu Deva Devo Vinirjidha Shesa Deva Deva. Hare Krishna, Dandavashana.
Who wants to recite the translation?
Mataji, can I read?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai translation. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Pritha as his kinsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Shri Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members and the kings and the princes of the Yadu dynasty who have conquered an unlimited numbers of rulers. He is their Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai Ho. Vidura gave Dhritarashtra very good counsel regarding political alliance with the sons of Pritha, the Pandavas. The first thing he said was that Lord Krishna was intimately related with them as their cousin. Because Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, he is worshipable by all Brahmanas and demigods, who are the controllers of the universal affairs. Besides that, Lord Krishna and his family members, the royal order of the Yadu dynasty, were the conquerors of all kings of the world. The Kshatriyas used to fight the kings of various dominions and kidnap the beautiful princess' daughters after conquering their relatives. This system was laudable because the Kshatriyas and the princesses would be married only on the basis of the chivalry of the conquering Kshatriya. All the young princes of the Yadu dynasty married the daughters of other kings. In this way, very chivalrous force, and thus they were conquerors of all the kings of the world. Vidura wanted to impress upon his elder brother that fighting with the Pandavas was fraught with many dangers because they were supported by Lord Krishna, who had conquered, even in his childhood, demons like Kansa and Jarasandha, and demigods like Brahmana and Indra. Therefore, all universal power was behind Pandavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here this
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Haribol.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry to disturb you, Mataji. Mataji, but the designated, like the shlokas were only till 5 to 10, 6 to 10, sorry.
Yeah. That's right.
I just saw, yeah. Sorry, Mataji.
I was asking, but no one answered. I thought we have time, we'll go ahead. But I'll stop here. 12th, they can continue to a 12th discussion.
Yeah, yes, Mataji, yeah.
So 11th was not It was just a small one. So yeah. So anyone has any questions to ask or anything to share on this particular chapter?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandat pranams. Mataji, actually, you in the class today, you said that the devotees have to tolerate more. So how will one know that how much we have to tolerate, Mataji? Like in the case of Pandavas, sorry, Mataji. Pandavas, they tolerated for so much. Even then, Arjuna never had the wish to fight with the Kauravas.
Yeah.
But then Krishna instructs and asks him to do his duty and fight for the rightful kingdom inheritance. So how do we know, Mataji? So when is the time that we should?
When is the
It not
time
that
we should stop
not
tolerating?
fight, Mataji? Yes, Mataji. Hare.
Yeah. So it is like, generally, devotees go through the sufferings as actually, it is for them, it's a purification for them. Yeah. So a lot of people suffer. I mean, three types of people keeps on suffering. Materialistic people, they suffer because of their previous misdeeds and all that, whatever action they are doing, there's a reaction coming to them, and they go through the loop of life, cycle after birth after birth. It is there for them. Yeah. So, but devotees, what their suffering is not considered as suffering. They do suffer because of the, they treat it as suffering as some kind of, blessing in disguise, in the sense it's a boon from the Lord to purify. So devotee suffering is for purification. So they just, whenever the sufferings come, they just tolerate on that note, because they are understanding that they are getting purification because of they must have done any anarthas, or they must have done any offenses like that. So they tolerate until, if it is not harmful, until to their, harmful by all means, like physically, mentally, emotionally. If it is not harmful, even financially, it's not harmful, then they can tolerate. But if it is coming to their, life and death issue, that if this is something which is going to, like how you see towards the end, Pandavas, they can't tolerate now anymore. Then the war is the only solution. So if there is something, you are coming to a situation where there is tolerating is not a solution to keep on going, then you should seek guidance. Like how Krishna came as a peacemaker here upon the request of Arjuna. You should seek guidance like that with someone whom you trust. Then, reveal your heart and what are the troubles you are going through. Share your experiences, and then they will be able to guide you. So don't tolerate if it is coming to your, can't even chant properly, or can't even, offer prasadam or bhoga and eat prasadam, or can't do your household duties peacefully. Don't tolerate.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
I don't know if it answers to you.
That it should not affect our bhakti. So that way.
Yeah. If it is not, the tolerance is not favorable to your progression in your spiritual life, you should not tolerate. You should seek up to guidance and solution, so that you will be able to, like, for example, if there is a service given to you, and then someone has actually trained you or gave you that service, so that, okay, they are not able to do it or something like that, they would have trained you and gave you the service. But then let's say in future they may come back, and then you've been doing the service, and they may come back and they may try to do the service. Then what happens, it is like that service is given to you, no one is attached to the service, but you are putting your heart and soul into that service and you are doing it. So now it looks like, you are not properly done or not doing it. So if someone else coming and trying to again, do the service which they have trained you, then you feel like little upset, isn't it? In that situation, considering the person who is, whether he's a senior most to you, or whether he is, peer, same as your level in your devotional service. You understand and seek guidance, and then go through in such a way that your service is not getting disturbed, their service is not getting disturbed. Both of you are in the end trying to please Krishna in a way that is favorable to do your or perform your devotional service, like that. Yeah. So always tolerance is not acceptable. Sometimes you have to seek guidance so that you properly perform your devotional service or serve Krishna, like that.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Then Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Anyone has anything? But tolerance is a good quality of devotees. Forgiveness, tolerance, and forgetting whatever is happened to you, and treating everybody equally. Humility. These are all qualities of a devotees where always you will get pious deeds for this. You just keep Krishna in the center of your actions and keep tolerating, then yeah, as much as you are able to manage it. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, how is that in one translation it is given like Bhima is very revengeful? How can we take that, Mataji? Because he is the purest devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, that is true. But the thing is that what is happening is not as per dharma. It is just their injustice is happening to them. So that is what it is. This tolerance is not acceptable. But upon truthfulness aspect, Yudhishthira, they have to listen to the elder brother Yudhishthira. So that is the reason they are just not tolerating and not actually taking any unforeseen actions despite of Yudhishthira's instructions. So they are just giving due respect to Yudhishthira, like that. So that revengeful is there because this is what he promised to Draupadi, right? When in Atsatsabha, when their Draupadi has been dragged like that, he took a promise, he took a vow like that. He just going to kill Dusyasana, and then with that blood, Draupadi is going to, take a shower like that. He made a promise. This is still going on in his heart. That given an opportunity, I just take a revenge. It is just waiting for the moment, is not outrightly acting upon that.
Yes,
attitude of him is waiting for that. Yeah.
Thank you,
Mataji, may I ask a question, Mataji?
Yeah.
Mataji, my question here is with respect to Pandavas, even they are influenced under material modes, Mataji. Why? Because we can see Yudhishthira playing the game of dice and all those, and sometimes we also hear that demigods will be, Lord Indra will be going and stealing this, that, and all. So I could see. I mean, will they also be affected? Pure devotees of the Lord generally they'll be in transcendental plane, right, Mataji? They will be also influenced by material modes.
They means the Indira are all the demigods, or you're asking
both,
about
Mataji? I'm asking about both, like Pandavas, pure devotees, and about even demigods also.
Demigods are getting influences like us only. They don't have, they also have desires. They also have, pure bhakti is not there for them. They also have, there's greater sense gratification in higher planets actually. So they also been influenced because they are in the same loop like us. None of the demigods' position is permanent. Even Brahmas also.
Okay. And what about Pandavas, Mataji? From Kshatriya point of view, what they're doing is correct only, is what we feel. But are they also influenced by modes of passion and all?
No, there was no, I don't see any incidents like that there in the mode of passion. Like they are just, doing the dice game is what it's just a cunning way of Duryodhana's thing, making all the Pandavas, putting them into trap. But It's just, it's just the Leela of the Lord, I would say, that, they are trapped in this kind of thing, and then, just teach us some lessons. They don't actually, these are all they are through their example, we are learning to some.
Okay, got it, Mataji. Yeah,
life
could be Mataji, because when Gopis or Radha Rani was herself was a little, she was proud, then immediately Krishna went off, and Krishna was there with Pandavas through every journey of theirs. So definitely they must not be influenced.
They are
Must be a screenplay.
Correct. They are setting examples for us to
Correct.
be caution and take lessons from their life, So
Okay.
not like that, they are influenced. If they are influenced, they will not have pious credits like that.
Okay, got it, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam, Mataji. Divya Gopu Mataji, you have
Devotees
some.
have any doubt? Divya Gopu Mataji only asked Mataji now.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Any other devotees have any doubts, or then we can end the session with your permission, Mataji?
Yeah, no problem.
Any more doubts,
All good,
devotees?
Matajis? Sorry?
Yes, Mataji. We can end the session, Mataji, with
Yes,
Vaishnav
yes,
Pranam, with your permission. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice session, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare